Hello everybody, welcome to another FIFA 17 experiment. This time we're going to take the 20 lowest rated teams and the 24 highest rated teams in the English League. So the 20 lowest teams are in the Premier League. We have Bourne, Bray Wanderers, Cheltenham Town, Derry City, Invigado, Bodo Glimt, Finn Harps, Fleetwood Town, Galway United, Grimsby Town, Hartlepool, Leyton Orient, Longford Town, Morecambe, Newport County, Olympio, Port Vale, Shamrock Rovers, Sligo Rovers and Wexford Youths are the 20 lowest teams in the Premier League. So we also pop over to League 2. We have Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Dortmund, Everton, Barcelona, Inter, Juventus, Lazio, Leverkusen, Liverpool, both Manchester teams, Milan, still can't pronounce it, Mönchengladbach, I have no idea, Napoli, Paris, PSG, Real Madrid, Roma, Sevilla FC, Spurs, Villarreal and Wolfsburg. So we're going to be going through this season by season and see how the teams are rounding up as the seasons go along. So let's pop over to the end of the first season to find out how that one goes. Okay, at the end of the first season of the experiment, as you can see in the Premier League, Wexford Youth, Finn Harps and Longford Town are relegated, and the winner of the league, if I can grab the controller, Leyton Orient won the Premier League with Port Vale second, Shamrock Rovers third, Olympio fourth and Hartlepool round up the top 5. In the EFL 2, we have Real Madrid, who won League 2, which with a 7-point lead over Manchester United. Barcelona takes third, Juventus is fourth, Bayern Munich is fifth, Paris is sixth, and Atletico Madrid is in seventh. So Atletico Madrid, Paris, Bayern, and Juventus, I think, if I remember rightly, will take part in the playoffs to get promoted to League 1. And down the bottom we have Sevilla, Leverkusen, Mönchengladbach, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Wolfsburg and Villarreal CF make up the bottom 5 on the Premier League. In the Emirates FA Cup, Juventus beat Manchester United 2-1. And then we had the EFL Cup, PSG beat Juventus also 2-1. In the Czech Trade Trophy, Barcelona beat Juventus 1-1. I assume there was extra time or penalties, I'm not sure, it doesn't say. And yeah, that's it. Now we'll move on to the second season of this experiment. Okay, this is the end of the second season of the experiment, and as you can see, Norwich win the Premier League 10 points ahead of Newcastle United, followed closely behind Cardiff City. And then you got Leyton Orient, who won the last season, in 4th place, and Invigado is taking up the round at the top 5. And the 3 teams relegated were Grimsby Town, Galway United and Hartlepool. In League 2, Chelsea dominating the League 2 with Inter in 2nd and Arsenal 3rd. Juventus, Manchester City, Spurs and Atletico Madrid will go into the League 2 playoffs. And not surprisingly, the 4 relegated teams are at the bottom of the table. League 1, Barcelona winning League 1 5 points ahead of Madrid, Bayern Munich and Manchester United 3rd and 4th, which will be going on to playoffs. Winner of the Emirates FA Cup is Real Madrid 2-1 over Juventus. The EFL Cup won by Atletico Madrid 3-2 ahead, so they beat Chelsea 3-2. Czech Trade Trophy, Inter beat Atletico Madrid 2-0. And the Copa Europe was won by PSV. Champions Cup was Olympique Lyon. And the Europa League was won by PSG 4-0 ahead of Zenit. And I think that's all of it. Okay, that's the end of the 3rd season of the Premier League experiment. We have Fulham win the Premier League, 4 points ahead of 2nd place Newcastle United, and then closely behind by Aston Villa. Norwich is in 4th and Cardiff City rounds at the top 5. And the 3 teams getting relegated are Cheltenham Town, Bray Wanderers and Newport County. In the EFL Cup Championship, Real Madrid win 2 points ahead of Manchester United, and Barcelona only 4 points behind Manchester United, and they'll go to play-offs with QPR, Leeds and Nottingham Forest. And the 3 relegated teams, Galway United, Burton and Grimsby Town, Hartlepool just, 1 point ahead of no, I'm reading it wrong, never mind. But anyway, so Hartlepool very lucky to still be in the Champions League, even though I'm trying to get relegated next season. League 1, Bayern Munich wins the League 1, 7 points ahead of Arsenal. Chelsea 1 point behind third. Atletico Madrid fourth. Inter fifth. Millwall sixth. And Coventry City in running at the top 7. So they'll be going to playoffs. The 14th relegated, Finn Harps, Longford Town, Wexford Youth and Doncaster, as you probably would expect them to be relegated. And we have League 2, Manchester City, 11 points have Dortmund, PSG third, which means they're going to the League 1. Juventus, Napoli, Spurs and Liverpool, Liverpool doing playoffs. But on the table, as you'd expect, the teams are relegated in the first season. And, well, let's look at the cups. We have Bayern Munich, who beat Manchester United 5-4 on penalties. Sorry, my hand's a bit shaky right now, because my hand's a bit tired. In the EFL Cup, Real Madrid beat Liverpool 4-1. So, big win for Real Madrid. Czech Trade Trophy 1-0 to Bayern Munich, beating Atletico Madrid. Copa Europe, Olympique Lyon beat PSG 2-1. Champions Cup, Schalke beat, I think that's Benfica 2-1. The EuroLeague, Sporting beat Real Madrid 2-1. And that's about it. So let's move on to the fourth season. Okay, at the end of the season, Manchester United beat Real Madrid by 13 points in the Premier League. Norwich just 2 points behind Real Madrid in third place. Newcastle fourth, and Derby County rounding up the top 5. And going down to the bottom of the league, as we see, Derry City, Bourne FC, and Sligo Rovers will be relegated. Oh, not that one. We want to go to the Champions League. Barcelona, with 114 points, wins the Championship League, with Chelsea in second place, which means they'll both be in the Premier League. Arsenal, Bayern, Nottingham Forest and QPR will be going to playoffs to try and get into the Premier League, and Bray Wanderers, Newport County and Hartlepool have been relegated. League 1, we have Inter and Spurs in the top 2 spots, which means Manchester City, PSG, Atletico Madrid and Dortmund will all be going into playoffs to try and get their way to the Championship League. Galway United, Grimsby Town, Burton and Bradford all being relegated. And League 2, Liverpool and Wolfsburg both 109 points each. They'll both be going to League 1. Napoli also in League 1. Juventus, Villarreal CF, Sevilla and Mönchengladbach will be going to playoffs. And no surprises really at the bottom of the table. So let's see who won the cups. Okay, the winner of the Emirates FA Cup was Tottenham Spurs, beating Manchester City 2-1. Then the EFL Cup, Real Madrid beat Spurs 2-0. Czech Trade Trophy, Juventus beating Dortmund 3-0. Copa Europe, Schalke beat Sporting 2-1. The Champions League, Sporting beat Olympique Lyon 1-0. And the EuroLeague, Bayern Munich beat, I don't know who that is, but Bayern Munich won 1-0. And that's it, so let's move on to the next season. Okay, we're at the end of this season, and Manchester United have won the Premier League. Paris, or PSG, is in second, 8 points behind, and Barcelona a further point behind. Manchester City is in fourth, and Arsenal complete the top 5. The 3 teams being relegated are Leeds, Derby, and surprisingly Leyton Orient. Now, I didn't realise Leyton Orient held on climbed on to the Premier League for so long. I think them and Evadgo are the last of the lowest ranking teams to stay in the Premier League. Well, Evadgo's going to be the lonely star of the lowest rankers to be in the Premier League still. In the EFL Championship, Atletico Madrid wins, Juventus in second, so they're both going to the Premier League. Milan, Napoli, Wolves and QPR will battle Milan and Napoli in playoffs. And the three teams relegated: Shamrock Rovers, Fleetwood Town and Bodo Glimt. EFL League 1, Liverpool wins, Villarreal is in second, Roma, Lazio, Leverkusen and Sevilla all going to playoffs. Morecambe, Chesterfield, Sligo and Walsall all been relegated. In League 2, Bury, Rochdale and Peterborough have won or through. Huddersfield, Bradford, Galway and Shrewsbury are in playoffs, but so nothing really interesting at the EFL League 2. I don't really think we need to look down there anymore, to be honest. Anyway, on to cups now, and Spurs beat Real Madrid 1-0 in the FA Cup. And then we have the EFL Cup. Manchester United beats Chelsea on penalties 4-3. The Czech Trophy, Leverkusen beats Liverpool 1-0. Then the Copa Europe, we have Real Madrid beat Chelsea 2-1. The Champions Cup, Bayern Munich beats Olympique Lyon 5-4 on penalties. Then we have the EuroLeague, where Spurs beat Chelsea 1-0. And that's it. So really interesting results there. So let's move on to the next season. Okay, at the end of this season, PSG wins by 7 points ahead of Manchester City and Manchester United in second and third. Spurs coming in fourth place. Atletico Madrid rounds up the top 5. And we see Wolves, Envigado and Cardiff City have been relegated. Envigado, the very last of the lowest ranking teams, finally relegated after 8 forever. Roma wins the Champions League, 7 points ahead of Liverpool. Napoli, Villarreal, CF, Nottingham Forest and Milan will all compete in playoffs. And at the bottom of the table, Port Vale, Olimpo, Rotherham United and Gillingham have been relegated. EFL League 1, Lazio beats Leverkusen by 11 points. Wolfsburg, Sevilla, Mönchengladbach and Everton will compete in playoffs. And the 4 teams being relegated: Bodo Glimt, Rochdale, Barnsley and Shamrock Rovers. So let's now look at the cups. In the Emirates FA Cup, Atletico Madrid beats PSG 2-0. In the EFL Cup, Manchester United beats Arsenal 1-0. The Czech Trophy goes to Mönchengladbach, who beat Leverkusen 2-0. In the Copa Europe, Bayern Munich beats Spurs 2-1. In the Champions Cup, Manchester United beats Barcelona 2-0. And finally, the EuroLeague, Manchester City beats Spurs 3-1. So let's now move on to the next season. Okay, at the end of this season, Bayern Munich win 4 points ahead of Manchester United in second place. Barcelona taking third place, PSG's in fourth, and Atletico Madrid will complete the top 5. The 3 teams being relegated: Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Norwich. In the EFL Championship, Napoli wins, 2 points ahead of Lazio. Leverkusen, Mönchengladbach, Villarreal and Milan will be competing in playoffs. And the 3 teams being relegated: Gillingham, sadly Leyton Orient and Sheffield Wednesday. In the first league, we have Wolfsburg, who wins by 4 points ahead of Sevilla. Everton, Coventry City, Millwall and Blackburn Rovers will be competing in playoffs. And the 4 teams relegated are Boreham FC, Olimpo, Morecambe and Fleetwood Town. Let's now check the cups. Okay, Emirates FA Cup winner was Chelsea, who beat Roma 2-1. The EFL Cup, Atletico Madrid beats PSG 2-1. The Czech Trophy, Sevilla beats Coventry City on penalties 4-3. In Copa Europe, Manchester United beat Manchester City 3-0. The Champions Cup, Manchester United beat Manchester City 2-0. the EuroLeague, Chelsea beats Arsenal 3-0. So now, let's move on to the next season. Okay, this is the results for the Premier League, and Manchester United have won by 4 points ahead of PSG. In third place, with 13 points behind PSG, is Manchester City. Atletico Madrid finished 4th, and Barcelona complete the top 5. The 3 teams being relegated are Mönchengladbach, Aston Villa, and Newcastle United. And that's the wrong button. The EFL Championship, Villarreal CF and Leverkusen will make their way to the Premier League. Wolfsburg, Milan, Sevilla and Nottingham Forest will compete in playoffs. And the 3 teams relegated are Bristol City, Cardiff City and Brentford. Now I've done that again. In League 1, Blackburn Rovers make their way to the EFL Championship. Charlton Athletic second, Millwall, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry City and surprisingly Leyton Orient will compete in playoffs, and the 4 teams relegated, Derry City, Oxford United, Hartlepool and Walsall. So nothing really interesting in Leagues 1 and 2, so we won't need to look at that anymore. But let's look at the Cups now. In the FA Cup, Bayern Munich beat Manchester City 2-1. In the EFL Cup, Manchester United beat Barcelona 4-1. The Checkatrade Trophy, Millwall beat Charlton Athletic 1-0. Then Copa Europe, Chelsea beat Manchester United 2-1. In the Champions Cup, Porto beats Benfica 2-1. And finally, the EuroLeague, where we have Atletico Madrid beat Monaco 2-1. So now let's move on to the next season. Okay, that's the end of this season, and Manchester United and Atletico Madrid tied at the top, but Manchester United got 5 more. It's 5 up on goal difference from Atletico Madrid. PSG finishes in 3rd, just ahead of Barcelona, and Manchester City makes it the top 5. And the 3 teams being relegated are Inter, Napoli, and Wolfsburg. In the Championship League, Mönchengladbach has won the Championship League. Milan's in 2nd place. Aston Villa, Sevilla, Newcastle and Nottingham Forest will all compete for promotion. And the 3 teams relegated are Wigan Athletic, Birmingham City and Evergado. But Leyton Orient managing to just miss the relegation zone, one of the lowest ranked teams hanging in there. And there's not very much to say about Leagues 1 and 2, so let's move on to the Cups. In the FA Cup, we have Bayern Munich beats PSG 1-0. In the EFL Cup, PSG beats Manchester City 2-1. In the Checkatrade Trophy, Millwall beat Bury 2-1. In Copa Europe, Porto beats Atletico Madrid 4-3 on penalties. In the Champions Cup, Atletico Madrid beats Manchester City 1-0. And finally, the EuroLeague, Chelsea beats, I have no idea who that is, but they beat them 4-0. Let's now move on to the next season of this experiment. Okay, at the end of that season, the winner of the Premier League this time is PSG, just 2 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. Arsenal taking 3rd place, Manchester United in 4th, and Barcelona complete the top 5. The 3 teams that are being relegated are Mönchengladbach, Villarreal CF and Sevilla FC. In the Championship EFL, Wolfsburg won by 6 points ahead of Napoli. Inter, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and Everton will be completing the playoffs, and the 3 teams relegated are Gillingham, Blackburn Rovers and Bolton. There's no point going to the EFL Leagues 1 and 2, so let's get on with the trophies. So the winner of the FA Cup with Atletico Madrid being Sevilla 2-0. In the EFL Cup, Chelsea beating Bayern Munich 2-0. Millwall being, I can't remember the name of this team, but they won 2-1. Copa Europe, Chelsea beats Atletico Madrid 2-1. In the Champions Cup, Atletico Madrid beat Barcelona 2-1. And finally, the EuroLeague, where Chelsea beats Bayern Munich 1-0. So let's move on to the next season. Okay, that's the end of this season of the Premier League, and as you can see, Manchester United have absolutely annihilated the competition. 22 points ahead of second place Atletico Madrid, PSG's in third, Barcelona takes fourth, and Bayern Munich completes the top 5. And the 3 teams being relegated are Lazio, Roma and Napoli, an all-Italian relegation. In the EFL Championship, Aston Villa win the league by 1 point ahead of Newcastle United, and also going to the playoffs, Sevilla, Everton, Mönchengladbach and Villarreal CF all will be in the playoffs to join Newcastle and Aston Villa in the Premier League. And being relegated from the EFL Championship, Birmingham City, Bristol City and Coventry City, Leyton Orient hanging on by a thread in 18th place. Now let's check the cups. In the Emirates FA Cup, Napoli beats Chelsea 1-0. In the EFL Cup, Manchester City beats Barcelona 4-1. In the Checkatrade Trophy, Blackburn Rovers beat Wigan Athletic 2-1. In the Copa Europe League, Atletico Madrid beats Chelsea 1-0. Then we have the Champions League. Benfica beats Manchester United 1-0. And finally the Euro League, where Chelsea beats, I have no idea who the other team is, but Chelsea wins 2-0. Now let's move on to the next season. Okay, we have come to the end of the season, and Manchester United have won the Premier League 3 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. Chelsea is in third place, PSG takes fourth, Manchester City will complete the top 5. And the 3 teams being relegated, Leverkusen, Wolfsburg and Everton. In the Champions League, Napoli, Mönchengladbach and Lazio all tied with the same amount of points, but Napoli and Mönchengladbach have got a higher goal difference than Lazio, so they'll both be going to the Premier League, while Lazio, Villarreal, Roma and Sevilla will play in the promotion playoffs. And being relegated from the Championship League is Wolves, QPR and Dons. Let's now move over to the Cups. Now in the Emirates FA Cup, Bayern beats Napoli 2-1. And in the EFL Cup, Chelsea beats Manchester United over penalties 4-3. Then we have the Checkatrade Trophy. Sheffield Wednesday beats Birmingham City 2-1. Then the Copa Europe, we have Chelsea beats Benfica 1-0. In the Champions Cup, Barcelona beats Atletico Madrid 2-1. And finally in the Euro League, Bayern Munich beat Chelsea 1-0. Now on to the next season. Okay, here are the overall results from the Premier League and the Cups. Now as you can see, in the Premier League, Manchester United beat PSG 6 titles to 2 titles, so Manchester United overwhelmingly had the most Premier League titles. Leyton Orient, Norwich, Fulham and Bayern had 1 title each. I know Norwich and Fulham weren't part of the experiment, but I'm going to count them, and same with the other with the trophies. Bayern have won the most amount of titles for the FA Cup. Real Madrid and Manchester United tied for the most amount of EFL Cup titles, with PSG Chelsea behind. In the Checkatrade Trophy, Millwall again wasn't part of the experiment, but I'm going to count Millwall anyway. They had the most Checkatrade Trophy titles, and then we had a lot of teams. Some of them that were part of the experiment, and some of them weren't, but they had like 1 title each. Copa Europe, Chelsea won 3 times. PSV, Lyon, Schalke, Madrid, Bayern, Man U, Porto, and Atletico only won once. EuroLeague, Chelsea won the most amount of titles with 4 compared to Bayern's 2. In the Champions League, Manchester United and Atletico Madrid had tied for the most amount of titles. So I'm going to take all those results and put them into like a little point system and see which team overall was the best. Okay, so here is my little point system I've made for the putting all the cups and the Premier League together. So Manchester United, they won the most amount of times with 3 points, and second place was PSG.
Now, it was a tie for third, so what I've done is I've taken 1 point and I split and I divided it into 4. So Bayern, Leyton Orient, Norwich and Fulham got like a quarter of a point each. And I did the same. I divided all the points up for the other leagues. So every time there was a tie, so such as the EFL Cup, Real Madrid and Manchester United had equal amount of titles, so they tied the top. So divide by 2. So I punched it out throughout, and so we had stuff like the checker trade. There was like 2, 4, 6, 8. It was a 9-way tie for second. So I divide 2. So I divide 2 by 9, and that's what we got. But anyway, long story short, Chelsea has scored the most amount of points. It got 3 points with the Copa Europe and the EuroLeague, and also got 1 point for the EFL and a quarter of a point for the FA Cup. Manchester United a full point behind second, third Bayern Munich by just less than a quarter of a point, and then a big gap behind is Atletico Madrid, and then PSG another 2.5 tenths behind, and so on all the way down to Leverkusen, Mönchengladbach, Sevilla, Blackburn, and Sheffield Wednesday with less than a quarter of a point each. So the experiment showed Chelsea was the best team overall. Manchester United was second, and Bayern made the top 3. So hope you enjoyed this little experiment, and there'll be a few more FIFA experiments that I'll be making. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.